discuss was why it's close to impossible for you to trade full time. And the reason why I'm doing a breakdown is because it's the most common inbox question I get. It's the most common question I've received, and it's really close to my heart because young people are the ones who are sold into this lifestyle, who are dropping out of university. Some aren't even going. I mean, I've received messages from matriculants who are like, oh, I'm going to be like dot dot dot, I'm going to trade forex, I'm not going to go to school. And before we get into the expenses, I've broken down all my expenses and other things we're going to discuss. I wanted to just say, in order for you to get a job in as a financial analyst in any bank, in any private equity firm, in any consulting company, you need at least an MBA. MBA, degree in finance, accounting. They really do not talk to people without degrees. It's a sad but unfortunate truth. If you're going to trade institutionally, you're going to have to get an education, a formal education, which is usually 4 years, whether it's MBA, a finance degree, honors or master's degree, economics, master's or PhD. That's the reality. And if you're not going to trade institutionally, you're going to want to trade full time. So let's go down through all the expenses I've put down here. And I want to explain some things and show you. So here I've put, these are my expenses as a 20-year-old without any children. How much do you need in order to trade full time? In order to trade full time, how big roughly must your account be? So first of all, I've put rent here as 5,000, and that's for one roomed apartment, which is like a bachelor studio. I don't have any kids, but it could be cheaper if you're in Joburg area. I think rents are like 3,000. I'm not too sure, but something which is important that a lot of people aren't told about is the fact that no landlord will give you a lease agreement if you don't have a full-time job. So if you don't have a full-time job trading institutionally, which I said requires like an MBA or finance, economics, or some major degree, if you don't trade institutionally and have a job, you will not get a leasing contract. So even though your people were flashing you a lifestyle as a forex trader, you will not get a lease agreement if you don't have a full-time job, which is one of the most important questions I'm always asked. Why are you pursuing degrees in law, IT, so and so, and why do you still have a job if you trade forex? And the reality is, you can't get a leasing contract. I'll have nowhere to live essentially if I don't have a job doing something, whether it's teaching or, but it has to also be a high-paying job because you want to live a good place in a good area. And landlords only give you a leasing contract if you have a high-paying job. It's just the reality, guys. And so if you don't have a full-time job and you want to trade forex, you won't get a lease, but you'll have to pay up 1,700,000 just for a basic two-bedroom apartment. This is Cape Town area because that's where I live. So I wanted to show you that you should know that if you don't have a job and you want to trade forex full-time, you won't get a lease. And they don't tell you that when they flash you many of these cars or this lifestyle, that you need a job. And if you're going to start a trading institution, let's say you say to me, okay, I'm going to start a trading institution. Will I need a job? No, but you'll need a business that's paying taxes and which you can show your returns. Problem with that is you're going to have to get taxed, and you're going to get taxed 45% of all your institution's money. And if you're not selling very expensive courses and making lots of money from that, again, you won't get the contract of lease. Water and electricity, 300, transport, 200. The good thing is that transport is quite low because you won't have a place to transport to. Insurance is very important, guys. You have to pay life and health insurance. I know there's some landlords will require life insurance, not all of them. It's just important for your sake when you get sick. I don't know if you know how expensive doctors are nowadays, but they're very, very expensive, and you should do that. And then there's the part of kids. There are people who want to trade full time who are going to have kids or who already have kids. I put private school tuition, but when I talked to someone, they said they really don't care about private school tuition. So, I mean, for me, it's important, but for others, maybe it's not important. Um, Essentially, that's just how much it will cost you. 3 kids, it will be around 290,000 um, per year per child. So the total is roughly 72,000 a month that you should have set aside for your kids, because obviously it's 3 kids, private tuition 4 months. I mean, 4 terms and things like that. And then the car payment, this is where things get interesting. Car, I've put here 36,000. Again, with cars, similar to landlords not giving you contracts of lease, with a car dealership, they are not going to give you you're not going to get a bond or some loan to buy a car if you don't have a full-time job. If you say I'm a full-time trader, that's not going to get you a loan for your car. So that means you're going to have to buy your car outright, which is why a lot of criticism comes to these forex traders who flash you cars, because the question is, how did they buy them? Are you buying full out outright? Because a BMW M4 will cost you 1.2 million, right? And if you have 22 cars, how are you buying them on loan or outright? You do the maths. I'm not going to go into it, but essentially that's what you're going to have to do. Whereas if you have a full-time job, you can get a loan and the car is actually cheaper. So I don't know why people hate on people with full-time jobs. I've never understood it, essentially. And then here we talked a bit about apartment. Essentially, if you don't want to pay rent in a shared house or by yourself in a bachelor's apartment, you're gonna have to pay out 1.7 million to buy the house outright, and then you're gonna have to save for university for your kids. So it's not only tuition, their clothing, sports, trips, and things like that, and vacations. You're gonna have to save for their university. Again, number nine. I don't know if you know this, but forex traders are supposed to pay taxes, and it's supposed to be 45% of your income. They're taxed like everyone else, which is 45%. And think about it. For me, 45% a year is like excellent in forex, like that you've done brilliantly. Now, if you're paying 45% in taxes, that means you're paying more taxes than you're actually earning. That's if you're complying with the SARS. I won't go too deep into it because I don't want my books to be opened as well. But my point is essentially this, that if you're taxed 45%, that's where all your profits are going. And if you have a trading institution, that's where a lot of your money is going to go anyway. And then there's family tax, obviously, if you want to help people out. So once I've broken everything down and considering all the legal issues that you're going to have to go through, like leases, loans, and things like that, insurance, it comes down to 256,000, and it will cost you more because you can't take advantage of loans and things like that. You have to pay for your car outright, you have to pay for your apartment outright, and that's why the fee is like 256,000. So what we gain from this is that freedom comes at a cost, a very high cost. So you can want to be your own boss and be an independent trader, but it will cost you a lot of money, and a lot of people don't talk about it. They don't break down things for you. So that's essentially my breakdown and why it makes sense. um, Stick to your job. You don't have to trade full time, and I've actually seen that a lot of traders who trade full time um, don't perform as well as those who have other things going on, because you're so glued to your screen. You start changing your stop loss, take profit, tweaking. You take unnecessary extra trades, boredom trading. And by the way, 256,000 per month is more than an investment banker with a master's degree in finance or economics. And essentially, you will need, I put down account size, you'll need 3 million rands to start off, and making 8.5% a month in order to keep up with this lifestyle I've just, and this is a simple lifestyle, a BMW car with a 2-bedroom apartment, which looks nice, 3 kids. Um, you'll need 3 million and to be making 8.5% a month, essentially. But I'm not saying that you can't do that, because there are ways, right? There's ways you can do that. Number one, you can sell a course. You can, for example, First FX, his course, his robot costs 10,000. And from what I've seen, I can at least say with confidence, 66 people have bought it, because on his YouTube, he actually talks about how much he's made from selling courses. And he says he made, I think, nearly 2 million, which is a lot of money, selling robots, courses, things like that. So I'm not saying you can't do it. I mean, go ahead and do it if you want. And then again, there's this guy, Spencer Cornelia, who I follow. He said something important. From his YouTube channel alone, he can make up to 15,000 US dollars a month. That adds up to almost 400 K. That adds up to almost 400, half a million rands a month. So it's possible if you also have a big YouTube channel, you're selling courses, you're selling robots, whatever you decide to do, it's possible. but I want kids to know the whole picture, that listen, a lot of the money isn't them trading. The reality is a lot of it is selling courses and selling robots, and then YouTube, um, and then marketing and things like that. It's not from trading an account. You will not get to that lifestyle by trying to flip $1,000 account to that level. And I just wanted you to know the entire picture before you get enticed into some of these ridiculous ideas. All right.